you know, I had this mindset where if you give yourself too much time to think about anything, you can talk yourself out of everything. And so
That's true.
I didn't want to think too much. I just wanted to do it.
It's the Stylus League. Mike and B pitching the pen, making pictures of sin to the highest ring. The league. Raul running the scheme. Tune into the program and why receive. Yeah, we dropping these seeds. Art over everything. Drive the dream.
Everybody, and welcome to another Stylus League artist interview in our series of interviews with amazing creatives. Tonight, we have a really fantastic guest and interviewee, a personal favorite of both Bradley and mine, Mr. Coran Kizer Stone. And if you don't know who he is, you're going to find out. This is a big one for us. Right. So I'm going to bring Bradley on. I'm going to bring on Kizer, and let's do it.
Hey,
fellas.
What's going on?
What's up?
How you doing, great one? You doing good?
I'm great, man. Just staying busy. That's all. You know.
Nice.
That's what I need to do. Is stay busy. Keep my mind off
Nice.
of the hubbub.
So Mike is going to be the professional. I'm going to try to be the fan and ask you all the fanboy questions as we proceed through this. And I really want to know, like, how did you get started? like, what's your journey? When did you start on this journey of creating awesome content and just being who you are?
Well, once I realized what the internet was, that's when I started posting mostly, pencil art, of some of my favorite characters from comics. Some of these characters are incredibly obscure, like Philly from LaShawn Thomas's, book. I forgot the name of the book. Shoot, but and some of the characters, of course, from Joe Mad's Battle Chasers. I was just drawing random pencil drawings, popping that up on the internet. Once I realized it existed and that you can pretty much do it and go anywhere on the internet, learn everything, I was like, "What? This is magic!" And so that's what I did. And then I realized that there were platforms where you could post your artwork, like Deviant Art and all these other artist forums, Satellite Soda, Pencil Jack, all these, these popular forums that people were digital webbing and all that stuff. And so that's when I started posting my artwork there, and I got a great response, and it kind of fueled me to, just draw more, and start also coloring my artwork in Photoshop, And so that was kind of like the start of a lot of my digital artwork that I started posting online. I was like, can I just do this all digitally instead of like doing it traditionally and then scanning it in? And then, I did that. I started just drawing completely in Photoshop with the mouse because there was no, what do you call it? No Wacom tablet.
Pen tablet.
Yeah, that was non-existent in my head. It might have been around, but I didn't know at that time if it was a thing, So
you started in
around what
1975.
year that was?
Okay. Okay, 1975 is when you started. Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah. So I didn't, I was just like I picked up because I was already using the mouse in MS Paint when I was in high school, right?
Okay.
To draw pictures, and I would just skip lunch. My class that was coming into that particular class, math class, they would see me, drawing in MS Paint. And say, "You drew that all in with the mouse on the gym?" And so I already had sort of experience drawing with the mouse on computer. So I just took that into Photoshop, and I was just like, I wonder if I could just make a whole crazy piece with, just using the mouse, which I did until like 2009, before moving to California.
Nice.
Are you
Nice.
so? Did you go to? Are you self-taught? Did you go to college to learn all the skills that you have? Like, so what was your education and training process to get to how you are?
Yeah, I'm pretty much self-taught. Now I went to school for about a year and a half, graphic design. But unfortunately, even though my teachers were talented, they were old school. So they knew how to use paper and exacto blade and rulers and stuff like that. But at that time when I started school, it was all computers. Graphic design had transitioned into Mac and PC computers. So
Mhm.
um, Illustrator and Photoshop, Quark Express, and a lot of the teachers didn't know how to use that. But yeah, I went to school for graphic design, and that's actually where I was introduced to a lot of these programs that I ended up using, Photoshop and Illustrator, you know, Maya, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get into a career of art? Were you working doing, like, I don't know, for me, like the first job was Pizza Hut, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have any real mundane jobs before you broke into, your passion?
Yeah, totally. I worked at Rite Aid. um,
Don't say Papa John's though. Don't say Papa John's.
no, Papa John. I went worked at what's that? It was not CVS. Yeah, Rite Aid, and then I worked for
Mhm.
Dunkin' Donuts. Those are the two jobs that I actually, I was able to fill out an application and get the jobs. All the other jobs, my family worked, for the business, and they were able to get me
Mhm.
in without actually filling out an application.
Okay.
So, um, uh, this litigation firm, I was a
Hmm.
debt collector.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was definitely
Nice.
the guy who called you up and asked for like the money. Um,
Run me my
um,
money,
Okay.
fool.
yeah,
So you have a thick skin, I take it.
Yeah.
For
yeah, oh yeah, especially like because sometimes when you would call them, it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was like, do you know
Mm.
what time it is?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I used to
um,
hate you, by the way.
oh yeah, yeah.
I
Hey, I
got those
have laws
calls.
against
A
that.
lot of people
I have
did.
laws.
And then I had filled out, I took taken a test and to become a police officer, and
Okay.
I passed the test, but I ended up getting a security guard job at the docks, which is paying a lot more. So
Mhm.
I ended up taking that job, you know, and working as a security guard for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
my first job ever too. I worked security at the airport outside in the parking garage.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Yep.
sound like it sucked.
It did. I lost it because I fell asleep in the booth. So
Oh man,
Mm.
I almost fell asleep
Nice.
a couple of times. That's crazy. They had cameras situated all throughout the dock, and if I fell
Mm.
asleep, then the company that I worked for would have gotten fined a lot of money, $20,000 or something like that, right?
Oh
oh
my.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I, as a security guard, was guarding huge sea vessels that were carrying, you know, very expensive merchandise and
Yeah.
Lexuses and BMWs and all that type of stuff. So I couldn't afford to fall asleep, even though I really wanted to a lot of the time. So the
Uh,
Coast Guard was always driving around as well. So
Oh, that's awesome.
uh, that's crazy.
yeah.
So
So
you're self-taught. You worked some odd jobs before you really. So what was your first job doing the creative work?
Um, when Warner Brothers called me, they hit me up online. I mean, not online, but on through my phone, and
mhm.
I have no clue how they. Well, my friend Chris probably gave them my number, my cell phone number, and line producer at Warner Brothers called me. This is when I was a security guard, right? I was posting my artwork online. I don't know if you can hear those loud dogs. Um, but yeah, they gave me a call, they asked me if I was interested in sort of working for them after seeing my work online. And 2 days later, I moved out to Warner Brothers to California, and I've been working in animation ever since. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
2 days later, that's crazy.
yeah.
That's a heck of a job offer, man.
I know, from the docks to the WB.
Yeah,
I know, right?
From Jersey to California. I had this mindset where if you give yourself too much time to think about anything, you can talk yourself out of everything. And so
That's true.
I didn't want to think too much. I just wanted to do it. Felt like I was ready, for that line of work. I was like, I could do. I've done pretty much everything else artistically. I was like, why not work in animation as a character designer, or that's what I thought they were going to hire me for, character design,
Mhm.
because I had drawn so many characters sort of in my own. It's like, what if Nightwing was this and that, looked more like
Yeah.
that. And so I thought they were hiring me to be a character designer, even though I really didn't even know what a character designer was at that time. I didn't know anything about terminologies when it came to animation. I just know I watched a lot of cartoons. But they were trying to make me a storyboard artist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started off as a storyboard revisionist and then worked up to become a storyboard artist. And then later on, they made me a character designer when this producer, whose name is James Tucker, who worked on Brave and the Bold. My last day before leaving Warner Brothers, James Tucker had called me in and asked me if I was interested in being lead character designer for a new Batman show that was coming up. So I was like, yes, I'll do that. Batman and still
Nice.
Spider-Man are some of my two favorite characters. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
So for those who are just listening, what does a storyboard revisionist or artist do? Like, if so what does that job entail?
Storyboard revisionist mostly kind of fixes. They kind of in some ways work as the second director. So if storyboard artists will draw, like, read the script, and they will draw sequences. It's kind of like a more sort of detailed comic book in some ways,
Mhm.
and in order to sort of get an idea of what every sort of scene is all about and all that shit. Now, a lot of these storyboard artists, they just draw a little chicken scratch, and
Mhm.
storyboard revisionist comes behind them and basically just refines the drawings, puts the backgrounds in and the action notes, to give a better idea of what the hell is going on in the scenes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you took it from a thumbnail sketch to a drawing they could use, basically.
Pretty much, so that the animators, even the ones that were making the animatics, could sort of easily decipher what the hell is going on.
Nice.
Are you able to say
That's
what
awesome.
Batman you worked on?
Yeah, it's online now. It's people are upset at Warner Brothers for not putting it out. Hey, I was upset. But it was called. I forgot the name of what the Batman was going to be called, but it was a much darker Batman, sort of based
Okay.
on the Arkham Asylum games.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, sort of very.
and it didn't come out?
No, I didn't come out because I
Uh,
think they believed in, like Cartoon Network believed in James Tucker, because he had just gotten off this very campy Batman show, Brave and the Bold,
yeah.
and then also they were going in a different direction in terms of humor,
Mhm.
and all that stuff. They were doing more cartoony type shows, like the Gravity Falls and they were coming out with Steven Universes on TV, and they wanted shows more like that. And so
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why Teen Titans Go ended up coming about. So they were
Were
looking for something that was extremely dark,
Right.
in Batman at that time.
were you there when Batman the animated series came out?
No, that was way before my time. I started in 2009, and Batman Animated Series came out early 90s.
So you were probably there for the Batman.
What's that?
Were you there for the Batman?
No, you're talking about no, that was before me as well. I think that the Batman came out like 2004, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good show though.
It was.
It's crazy. I ended up getting to know all of those people that worked on those shows, though. Bruce Timm and the lead character designer for the Batman, Justice League. It's crazy. Huge fan of all of these characters and these humans. Sometimes, think about Bruce Timm. He doesn't say anything to anyone. Like when you meet him, he's hey, what's going on, and then just walks right past you.
I had an equally cringy encounter with Bruce Timm, like the Questlove story.
Yeah.
I was on a phone meeting with him and a room full of people for Gods and what was that Justice League?
Oh yeah.
Something in Gods, whatever it was, Gods and Monsters, whatever it was. But they wanted me to pitch some stuff for the cover art for the DVD. And when they said that he was in the room, I was like, I kind of told him how much of a fan I was. I was like, I just had to get that out of my system. He was not impressed at all. So I feel like the way to approach people is just to be like, what's up? maybe that's a safe route. Like, what's up? Black Thought, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
That's it.
I heard of you. You do some stuff.
Yeah. You rapper, right? You do some stuff. Okay. Yeah. So anyway.
Song you did with Eve. I was like, man, it's all right.
He's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So as you're getting your footing, and so would you say when you first got your job at Warner Brothers, like what do you think your holes were in your artistic ability, and what did you do to what were they, and then what did you do to help while you're in the job, let me fix this?
There was a lot of holes, man. I didn't and I have tryptophobia, so I was definitely uncomfortable when it came to holes. But no, I didn't know anything about terminology, film terminology, what full shots and mid shots and close-ups, banana pins, all this stuff. I was like, well, that sounds like Spanish. And so I ended up in 2 weeks, because I didn't want to go back home to become a security guard again. I ended up in 2 weeks learning everything I needed to learn, in order to further work in the animation industry. So, whether it was character design, storyboard art, being a color stylist, learning all the terminologies, background art, prop art. I even helped out the prop art, showed them a new way of doing things, and which they ended up implementing in a whole bunch of other studios, which I found very sort of interesting. But yeah, I didn't want to go home, so I learned all those things, in very little time. So I remember this one director, his name was Jay Oliva. He was working at Warner Brothers at the time, and he asked me when we were walking back to one of the animation buildings, he's like, what did you do before you worked here? I said, I was a security guard, man, 3 weeks ago. This is you guys hired a security guard, but it's too late now because I know everything. Yeah.
Nice. So I would like to ask, so now we kind of have the background. I always like to ask, were there any times in your career that you felt like maybe I need to either take a break, or did you ever run into any adversity? I know with with me and most of the people I talk to, at some point they get this whole, imposter syndrome thing, or just trying to figure out if this is the way to go. I know early in my career, I wasn't making enough money, and I didn't know if this is a thing that was going to sustain me for any amount of time. Was there anything like that you ran into that you had to overcome?
Well, yeah, I got a little burnt out when I was working on one show for Marvel. It's actually, it was Spider-Man. I was working on because they brought me in order to, because one, the lead character designer wasn't able to work on the show. He was working on Invincible. I think it was Invincible. Oh, no. Was it Invincible or Legend of Korra? I'm not sure, but he wasn't able to come in and be lead character designer. But I moved back from Jersey to California in order to emulate his style, and it was a lot of work, dude, because no one could get his style. I was the only one, right? And this was Marvel's Spider-Man, which
that was a good one.
The people hate that damn Spider-Man.
That's the is that the one where they played him really young?
Yeah, very young. Miles Morales was in it, Gwen, and a whole bunch of other characters. So yeah, I ended up helping out on that show and doing mostly the secondary character design. I love you, Alex, but Alex didn't really. He was like, hey, Coran, I'm just I'm gonna work on this style, make sure that I, get it, because we got him from England, but he came with his wife and his kid, and we were like, well, he's not really getting the style. I was talking to the supervisor director. I was like, he's not really getting the style. So what are we gonna do? He's like, yeah, we can't bring him back home because his wife and the kid. So he's great now. Like, he's lead character designer on a ton of shows. But at that time, it gave me. I had to do all the work.
Yeah.
Turnarounds and story. Well, not storyboards, but some of the what do you call it? Layouts, and then the wireframes for some of the characters, just so that they can really get it. I would draw like packets. I would give them packets, animators packets of expressions, poses, color up some of the characters, and then they had to be refined. I mean, they had to be like clean drawings. They couldn't be, like roughs for some reason.
Yeah.
This is very tiring. After this, I want to just go home and chill.
So were you all this was done? So all this was done under Warner Brothers, or were this at different studios?
This was Marvel Disney.
Marvel Disney.
Yeah.
So you worked for Warner Brothers and Marvel Disney in the past?
No, I worked for Warner Brothers first. That was when I was working on a lot of the DTVs. And then I worked on a show, Batman show, Young Justice show as character designer.
Young Justice was great.
Yeah. Phil Barrasso was the lead character designer, and after I'd worked on Batman with James Tucker, he'd asked me if I could work on Young Justice with him. So that's what I did, and then after that, I ended up working on a couple of other DTVs. Mostly Batman stuff. Seems like they always got me to do the Batman. Like Dark Knight, they got me. But and then after that, it was Hasbro Transformers Prime over at Hasbro. And then a ton of studio, Ultimate Spider-Man, which was right down the street, downstairs, same studio, Film Roman. And I used to be like sort of nosy and see what they were doing on Spider-Man. And the supervisor director of that show, he was like, "Who are you? Why do you keep coming around here? What's going on?" I'm friends with most of these guys here, Chris Copeland, Jeff, Sean. I'm just sort of being nosy and seeing what they're working on. And they told the supervising director, "This guy is really good. You should check out his work." He did. He was like, "Do you want to work on Spider-Man?"
You were saying like you would do like a brief or actually like do a style sheet for the animators, like, and you're saying you were drawing like all like from poses to close-ups, like how like in a day, like how much of that were you doing? Like how long did it take? How much did you finish? Like was it colored, or was it just like line drawings?
Racist. Racist.
What was that?
It was it all depended on how the amount of work they gave me. So if it was, turnarounds and expressions and poses and all that stuff, that would sometimes take a little bit longer than just doing turnarounds, and then having my secondary character designer, do some of the expressions and some of the poses. Majority of the time I had to do that, so it would take like 2 days, maybe three, but mostly 2 days, because of course in animation you have to make sure that you work fast so that production keep on going, otherwise you can get fired. Anyway.
Well, that's one of the things that kind of drew me to your work, aside from the style, because the style is really dope, but it's what appears to be the speed at which you work doesn't even compute to me, because like now I see, you do a lot of your work on the iPad Pro, I guess, and the thing that I noticed with that is that it looks like you're going super fast, man. Like,
Yeah.
is that
my face
just because of the nature of your job?
Yeah. I had to. I had to figure out like how to get faster,
Mm-hmm.
when it came to what I was doing, even though I was already kind of, pretty fast.
Mhm.
When you work in animation, you're just a part of sort of a whole machine. You're one of the gears that
Mhm.
had to keep things going. So I just got even, dude. I just sort of, when it comes to pretty much anything now. So even if I'm working on like an illustration, a personal illustration of mine,
Yeah.
altogether, most of those illustrations, colors and everything, about 2-3 hours.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that it looks like you do that I don't get is, so when I'm working on a person or a pose or something like that, I got to do construction lines, and it looks like you bypass the construction lines and just go to the finished line, which is insane. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, majority of the pieces that I do. Yeah, especially if it's a
Jeez,
character
man.
that I've drawn a billion times, like
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtles or Batman,
Mhm.
Spider-Man. I've, I've drawn so many characters, man,
Yeah.
in comics and animation, that I ended up sort of, it just records itself to your brain, and then you're able to draw it.
Wow.
Um, my father has that ability too. I guess he just visualizes things and he makes it. Whether it's
Okay.
a whole cabinet, a whole bar downstairs in his basement, which he's done, or
Mhm.
or a piece of art like portraits or something like that. Because my father's really good at that. So
Oh, okay.
he'll think it and he'll do it, and he don't like to sort of like, I'm gonna sketch it out and sort of figure it out. He just wants to get to it. That's it.
Yeah.
But I grew up with my father, so I pretty much use his philosophy when it comes to executing.
I know that that's my, like, I'm kind of that way with painting illustrations. I want to get to them as fast as possible, so I
Yeah.
can definitely feel you there. But there's zero way that I'm gonna be able to do a 3/4 view of a dude without doing some construction lines, or else I'll have like that. It'll look like Picasso, like both eyes are on one side and the nose is over on the other side. It'd be crazy.
Hey, that might look pretty cool, yeah.
So when did you start to transfer, like, so a lot, it seems like a lot of your personal art that you do is mostly iPad. So when did you make the transition to like doing a lot of work on iPad?
Um, what, 2018 or something like that. Yeah, that's when I realized, oh shoot, you can draw on iPads just as well as you can in Photoshop. And
Wow.
this cheap application called Procreate. So
Mhm.
once I realized you could do that, dude, man, I was just drawing every single day. I went to
And
Samaro's, this pizza spot over in New York City,
mhm.
and just drew. I didn't even eat pizza. I don't remember even eating a slice of pizza or anything. I just sort of drew and realized, oh shoot, I could color in this, and draw. And so I was like, I wonder if I could do my animation work in this. I just work anywhere, and
Wow.
and so my first job in animation, um, working with the iPad, was Boondocks. Um,
Okay.
and when I turned my artwork in, doing it in Procreate, and they didn't have a problem with that, I was like, yeah, I can go, I can go anywhere now. Awesome.
This is dope, man.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have to
I
be.
was very.
I don't have to stay confined to a certain spot in order to do my artwork now, which is
I was
great.
telling Bradley I was very anti iPad. So I started in like on Apple computers, and then I got into PCs. But I was very anti iPad until the Pro came out, and
Yeah.
then I was still kind of waited a while. And Bradley was like, "Yo, the M1 came out. This is the one. You got to get that M1." And I was like, whatever, man. I ended up buying the M1 and the Apple Pencil 2 or whatever, and I'm telling you, like movie posters, all kind of like that's everything is on the table now. So being able to work anywhere is incredible, man. So I know how you feel on that.
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
dope.
Yeah. I love my iPad, dude. It's one of my favorite things to just get. I got three of them now. From every
Nice.
year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bradley, I was telling Kaiser earlier. So I always found like whenever I find somebody who's a true what I call creative, somebody that can make something from nothing, I'm always intrigued by that. And I know that's kind of what we all do, but not everybody does it to the same degree, right? So
Yeah.
I consider myself a renderer. If I have something in front of me, I can replicate it or whatever. But the whole coming up with an idea in your head, because he makes a lot of his own characters, and one thing that we're going to definitely get into in the second half, but I want to kind of foreshadow now, is your fast food characters, which
Right.
I think a lot of people, you
Uh-huh.
blew away a lot of people on Instagram with that. But if you guys don't know, we're gonna have the links for Kaiser's IG, and just check out what he did with like Wendy's and KFC, and even
Popeye.
places that don't even have mascots. Arby's, he's making up like the dude and all that. So, how first of all, how did you get that idea? And second of all, how did you execute that? Because it doesn't look like one person did that to me.
Um, I just for some reason decided to draw Ronald McDonald, because
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I was feeling sort of I remember, you remember when Ronald McDonald was around back in the 1980s? I always thought he was a little scary, but I was like, let's urbanify him, if that's even
Right,
I
right.
might have made it up. But that's pretty much what I did, and I put that up. I put this character up, and people responded unlike I had ever seen that from, like, any other poster. And so I was
Dude,
like,
that piece is amazing.
yeah. So I decided, maybe I should just draw the other characters from fast food.
I love your Colonel. Like that is not what I expect from KFC Colonel. But and I also I wouldn't think that I would be drawn to him because of just is the Colonel, right? But just those color stripes behind him and the way that you have him standing there is just
Yeah.
dope, man. Like that and Wendy's, I think, are my two favorites.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah, Wendy, and so the Colonel is supposed to be their teacher, Ronnie and Wendy's teacher.
Okay.
and teaching them how to fight, sort of, you know.
Oh, so there's a story behind all this.
Oh yeah, there's a story behind almost every single thing I put up online, dude. You know.
A, how is this not an animation yet? And B, how are they not playable characters in the new Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat that's coming out? That's what I want to
came
know.
up with moves for each and every one of them and everything. Their alternate names.
Nice.
But that's it. That's why I draw in the first place, because I have like an idea, a story in my head, and drawing more allows me to illustrate what's in my head,
Nice.
and so that people can see it. And so the better I get at drawing, the more I can sort of like draw all that crap out in my head and see all the, people can see all the strange shit that I have in my. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm very surprised that people like the fast food stuff. Especially what's the guy's name? I just dude with
Jack?
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Never even eaten Jack in the Box. But I learned about him, and I was like, what if I made him like a serial killer or something like that, or an assassin? Because he just looks very strange, very weird. And all the other characters that just, Arby's is one of my favorite. The one that I got in trouble with, because I didn't know anything about Chick-fil-A. I'd never eaten that. I'm not really a fast food eater guy,
right?
But Chick-fil-A was definitely a problem because, they're very Christian.
Yeah.
And they were against a certain type of group of people, and at that time when I drew the Chick-fil-A character, they were having a feud, and they said, I can't believe that you would draw this character. I said, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. You're like, that's all right. I'm gonna swap it out for In-N-Out Burger. It'll be a new.
So I made the Chick-fil-A character. He looks super heroic, and he looks like a chicken Superman, but he's actually very bad. He's kind of like that character on The Boys, Supposed to
Homelander.
The Dunkin' Donuts one too. Crazy.
Very
You did them all, man.
That's dope.
Jeez. Like, so what was the span of time in doing all that?
Altogether, I'm not sure. Probably, yeah, because I was like, I would draw one, it would get like a huge reaction, then I would wait maybe a month to do the next one. So altogether, maybe about 2 years, maybe one and a half years. But if I was to draw them all together, like all in, probably it would probably take like 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Yeah. But I didn't do that. I had work in between. I couldn't just focus on fast food characters.
So let me ask you this.
I had no clue that they were, as popular as they became. Really, I didn't know they were going viral.
They did go viral. So let me ask you this: with your Instagram and your socials, did you notice a time where, I imagine that you always had like a decent following, but then you like blew up. Was there any one thing that you can attribute to like really, going viral, like the fast food stuff and just making you much more popular?
It always happens every couple of years. So whether it's the fast food or the Ego series, which was like my alternate take on superheroes. So like, how they would look in civilian clothing, and then how they would look at superheroes. I did that, and that blew up. And then I did something with Calvin and Hobbes versus Christopher Robins, and Winnie the Pooh type shit, which was huge. And then also, I did just a random piece of what's his name? The
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, and I guess people hadn't seen him in a long time, especially the way I drew him. So they, So they were like, that blew up. So every like other year, a couple of years, I'll do something very random, and then it'll just take off online.
That's
So
fresh, man.
it's always unexpected to me, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, for somebody
you're
like
not
me who is,
strategizing like I'm gonna go viral like right now. I'm gonna do this. It just happens.
Oh no, not at all. Never. Actually. I mean, like majority of the stuff that I do is mostly for me, and then I put it up online, and then I guess everyone sort of, a lot of people are entertained by it, and so,
Do you ever get people from those franchises that reach out to you, like, I don't know, the
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Panda Express. They hit me up. Yeah,
Nice.
they sent me some free stuff.
What?
Yeah, and who else? Couple of people, man. Marvel, Disney. A lot of the reasons on why I got working at studios is because I would do some of those things that became viral. Those projects that I came up with.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, man.
Bradley, I cut you off. Go ahead, man.
No, I was trying to find the Inspector Gadget image so I can like really look at it. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Now, are you old enough to even know what that is?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, you?
No. Yeah, no. This is the thing. So, just so you know,
I'm gonna be
Kizer,
40 this year. Okay.
But Bradley, so Bradley refuses to watch anything older than what's your cutoff? Is it 1980?
Yeah, anything above 1980 can't rock.
Yeah. So anything before 1980. I've been trying to get him to watch the Warriors for the past 2 years, and he won't do it. So
yeah.
That would be, dude. I'd love to see your take on them. That would be crazy, man.
So are you talking about animated anything or like?
No, anything. If I say anything, I cover everything.
But you did see Akira though, so you saw Akira, right?
Yeah, but
was that mid 80s?
No,
Akira was mid 80s.
Late 80s, 1988.
Late 80s, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So are you a anime fan? So are you so does anime drive your what's your traditional American style, or was it anime and then you morphed it into your own?
I love everything animation, dude.
Okay.
Anime was just a different type of animation where I'm like, well, they're really sort of killing it with the foreshortening and the action and all that stuff. They know what the hell they're doing, They're just coming up with new ways of making us feel a certain way with the characters in action. And I thought that was just awesome. When I first saw the Transformers movie back in the 1980s, I was like, man, these guys. I mean, it looked very much like the intros for those cartoons from the 1980s. Animated by TMS, who also animated the Akira movie. They did the best episodes in the 1990s of Batman the Animated Series. With Clayface and Man Bat and all that stuff. Yeah, they anime had me at hello, definitely.
So you would agree that Dragon Ball has the best anatomy that there's ever been in art, right? Their anatomy makes complete sense.
No, it makes no sense, but it's awesome animation. Dragon Ball to me, and then of course Dragon Ball Z afterwards. It's almost like a Western,
Okay.
It's so the anticipation, these characters standing at a distance away from each other, and just looking at each other, and their powers are further sort of emanating out of their bodies, and they're becoming stronger. And then the next 2 episodes later, that's when they fight.
You Americans, you always want things to happen right away, okay? No patience.
So yeah, the build up. So I will tell you this. I have Bradley is a Dragon Ball, as I like to call it, Dragon Balls. He doesn't like when I do that. I just say that to make him mad. He's a Dragon Ball Z fan, And the only thing that has kept me away from doing the sculpt is the proportion of the people. So if you ever decide to do any of those characters and do them in your style, 100%, I'll be on Dragon Ball. Also, you'll break the internet too, just so you know that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
let me know when you're ready to trend again.
Yeah, yeah. Goku. I would love to draw Goku. I haven't drawn him in a minute, like since 2002 actually. I wonder how I would draw him now. Yeah.
All right, so if anybody is watching this, you can't sculpt when Kizer does Goku because I'm gonna be sculpting that one. Don't do it. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Yeah. But I drew him as Superman. Yeah, I gave him a little less.
Nice. I like Clark in the Goku gear. That's dope.
Yeah. But yeah, when I do stuff like that,
make sense.
When I do stuff like that, that's when people. I think it's now people have gotten used to me doing like coming up with my own sort of renditions for stuff, and so that's what I do now. If I do just a character with that's how he or she is in the comic books, they're like, "What is this? I don't."
Yeah, nobody's looking for that.
Yeah.
So you are a man of many drawings. So we're just gonna go through and talk about your process and what goes through your mind when you're like drawing some of this stuff. Mike, just to kick us off,
can we just take a second on that first one? Just click on the first Spider-Man, please.
Yes.
14,000 likes. I'm just saying, that's a lot of likes. That's a lot of likes, fam. That's an awful lot of likes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
the algorithm.
I mean, he's like, yo, you
know. Hold
on. 14,001. No, I'm just kidding. So, but no, can we click on the Wolverine? Because I want to start off with that. Obviously, I'm a Wolverine fan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this one, man, because this is rough. Tell us what's going on this.
Actually, this was illustrated by my friend David Williams. You guys probably know Williams. But I've always been a fan of his artwork, and we know each other. We're good friends with one another, and so I told him. Well, actually, I didn't tell him that I would color this. He's just like, color this, and so I did. But I hadn't really colored anybody's work in, I would say, 2010 or 11 or something like that. But this one I realized, oh shoot, maybe I'm a little faster than I used to be when it comes to coloring. And this is David Williams' work.
That's dope.
So David drew this and you colored it.
Yeah, I did. Colored it. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
So when you say you hadn't colored anybody's work since 2011, was that for like a book or was that for anything in particular? What was that for?
No, that was just mostly for practice, like just to see if I could color somebody's work outside of my own, and so the last person's colors that I did, I just did it for fun and posted it up on Facebook. And that guy, who's a very popular artist, by the way, Otto Smith or whatever, he saw it, and I think he put it up on his page.
Nice.
But that was the last person back 2010.
That's dope, man. Yeah, that Spider-Man is crazy. Like, it's all good. So Bradley, I'll let you pick the next one.
Awesome. Bro, okay. So to draw it, but then to go through and make all of these poses within it is like super dynamic.
Yeah.
As we were talking before, like you like a good walking pose. But when you are when you're thinking about your arts, like how are you thinking about proportions and what are you thinking when you're making it to like how to make this piece more interesting?
Just sort of like what would this character's personality, how would he or she pose, and then how I can kind of push it a little bit, So if it's just sort of the character, if I'm drawing a character sitting there, then that character has to like, it's like maybe he's got a little bit of, he or she has like a little bit of style and how they sit. So that's mostly like what I think about. It's mostly like a practice, you know. So even if the character is sort of like has his back turned and he's got his arm up, how can I make that look kind of cool and interesting to whoever is looking at it, the spectator and stuff like that. But it also has to sort of in some ways look like it's telling a story, because everyone has something in their head, and the reasons on why they pose a certain way, That's the one thing when I was a kid, if I was to draw like a ton of characters, sort of pose like 20 characters, one of those Eric Larson, George Perez type drawings, then every character has to have their own way of posing, if they're flying or jumping or whatever. It can't just be the same thing. It's just a recycling of the same thing. So
I'm always drawn to the graphic flares that you throw in there too, like that orange background on the one that is kind of hunched over. Yeah. In addition to the pose and the proportion and the color, like it's like a layer cake, and just that little graphic hit in the background with the corner kind of detail where you have a little line kind of back through it. It's not just a rectangle, right? It's a graphic statement.
Yeah.
And it just grounds it and also makes it like super powerful. So when you do those things, do you ever how do you come up with, I'm going to use yellow or orange for this, I'm going to use green for this one? Like, is this from doing your actual day job? Is this from a love of comic books? Is this from your graphic design background? Like, how do you come up with that stuff?
I would say it's probably more from the graphic design background, sort of, and then also like it allows the character to stand out that much more, maybe adding a little bit of atmosphere in the background and in the back of the character, some of these elements, like the one where he's foreshortened, and there's the green background. They help to add to, the movement and the dynamic proportions of the character and stuff like that.
Yeah, almost like action lines.
Yeah. So these things are sort of like in my head. How can I experiment? How play with it so that I can add a little bit more? Maybe and then apply that to my next piece. Like if I was in an illustration piece. So some of these, would never be something that I would do for an actual animation, like in my 9 to 5. Because I don't know if they would even accept like some of these backgrounds, but I do it because I think because I want to work some of this stuff into my next pieces, and then also it helps to sort of add to the existing sort of dynamic action that the character is already in and stuff like that. Okay. And then like color theory is like the character is blue and the background is orange, is complementary color and all that stuff. So
it's dope, man.
Which one did you start with? Because I'm pretty sure you started with one and then it inspired all the other ones. So in this piece, which one did you start with?
I think I started with the guy in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the walking pose, and the guy at the top, and then dude with his arm towards you, and then the hand. Yeah. It's very random,
Dude, the proportions are everything, man. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, just
what's your theory? Because I'm a fan of. That's what I'm trying to say. All his proportions on everything is just like.
I know. Well, that was the first thing that like stopped me on it. But I've always been a Bruce Timm fan, and I feel like this is that next kind of evolution of where Bruce Timm takes his stuff. Because like, if you look at his Justice League, always small feet, big shoulders. But always very tapered, and it's very kind of predictable that Superman, Batman, all of them kind of have the same body shape.
Yeah.
Whereas the walking, that walking pose on Spider-Man 2099 on there is it's very dynamic, and it has realistic kind of contours with stylized proportions, and it just makes it that much sweeter, man. It's dope, in my opinion. I think
Thanks,
it's
dude.
dope.
Thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, 14, 15 years old, I wanted to become a medical illustrator, right?
Oh
So
wow.
I ended up learning all the muscles of the body, all the, with tendons, the actions and insertions, origins of everything, terminologies of, the prefixes, root words, suffixes of pretty much everything when it came to anatomy.
At
And
14 and 15?
yeah, it was mostly because my father, who's an artist,
Yeah.
he, um, he would look at my stuff and he was extremely blunt, and so yeah, he's like, you need to study your anatomy, and so that's what I did. I did pretty much everything my father told me to study,
Yeah.
composition, color theory, perspective, you know. I remember one time showed him, I was like 10 or 11 years old. I showed him a picture of a dog. He's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's a nice picture of a horse, son." And I was like, okay. And then I showed him a cat. He was like, "What, what is that? A rat? Some shit like that." I forget exactly what he said, but he knew what it was. He was just basically just trying to tell me that you need to start seeing things,
Uh-huh.
simply. Stop overcomplicating the way you see things,
Yeah.
and see it in the basic form. And that changed my idea of things. But everything he asked me to study, I became voracious with it, and so
Mhm.
that caused me to start picking up. Like when he said anatomy, that's caused me to start picking up basic anatomy books, and then I went into Gray's Anatomy.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah. And so that's one of the reasons on why, even though my characters are very sort of exaggerated, I do, of course, I know all the musculature and the bones that are underlying it and all that stuff.
Nice.
Very important.
Hey, Bradley, can you click on Spider-Gwen?
I sure can.
Spidey.
So I'm sure what everybody that's watching this is wondering is, did you work on either of the Spider-Verse movies?
No, I didn't work on any of them. I was actually
Okay.
working on Boondocks when they were working on the last Spider Verse movie, and then I was also
Damn, how long ago was that?
that was a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
There's
You working
that
on new
recent of
Boondocks?
Boondocks?
Yeah, I was working on the computer animated version that they were gonna make.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna have to cut this out? Is this gonna be a problem?
No. This
Okay,
is
cool.
All right, yeah, I'm sure you just made a bunch of people happy. So
yeah.
there's
I
that.
mean,
I went
well,
to school with Aaron, by the way.
okay.
Do you work with him directly when you're doing the things? Do you have to like give him approval? Does he give you approval on the pieces, or you go through somebody else?
Well, he did. I don't work on Boondocks anymore, but yeah, at that time, that was, like I said, that was the project I was working on my iPad.
Okay.
When I was here in Jersey, I was drawing on my iPad and like doing work for Boondocks, turning in Boondocks work, and yeah, he would approve certain characters and stuff like that. They wanted it in a certain style, and so
Mhm.
I was able to sort of look at that particular style and draw it, and he liked it, and so brought me over to
Nice.
California and work over at Sony. I worked right downstairs from Spider Verse.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
this background here, this is what I was kind of, thinking. Very graphic. Love the colors. I love the breakup of, the stippling at the top and all that. Do you have any particular brush sets in Procreate that you tend to rely on more than others?
When it comes to drawing, I usually stick to the studio pen and also the ink bleed brush that I like, but me and my friend, we made customized a ton of brushes, so that
Oh,
people don't have to
okay.
draw anymore, really.
Nice.
Like
Nice, nice.
we made building brushes like that right there. Those are building brushes.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, and then also window brushes. All types of windows. Futuristic windows or just
Yeah.
regular, windows that exist. And then, halftone brushes that are not just circular, but
hmm
square, and some of them are star shaped and all that stuff.
Wow.
We've done everything. Noise
That's
brushes.
dope.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that available for sale anywhere, or that's just you keep you are you're hoarding those to yourself?
No, 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 no. We have them for sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
ArtStation?
No, no, no. What is it? Where is it? It's on Spring, but it's connected to my Instagram page. So if people
Okay.
want to purchase it, it's a whole pack.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what we'll do is, if you guys are Procreate users and you like Kaiser's brushes and want to buy them, we'll put a link in the description for you to go directly to his page and buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be doing that very soon as well.
And then there's another link on my page. So if you get out of there, it says Digi brushes. So digital brushes. Those.
Oh, okay.
So you
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That's what's up.
But yeah, we make stuff for people so that they can play just as much as I play. So if you look at that Venom right there, yeah, right there, those. Oh wait, that's the older piece. But
There's another Venom. Where Venom? This one?
This one?
Yeah. So, I don't know why I changed to that, but
was it the one you made out of focus? Because that with that chromatic aberration, that is crazy, dude. That's dope.
Yeah, that was a no I used Gaussian blur in order to put it out of focus, but those are brushes that we all made, that me and my friend made, and then basically Gaussian blurred it so it looks like the characters more sort of in the foreground, shit like that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
The attention to detail, the little flashes of color coming through here, and the chromatic aberration that's happening. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was. That's the thing about the chromatic aberration. Seems like everyone's sort of using that now, and my friend is always sort of like, they're taking from you, man. It's like, nah. I got the chromatic aberration from watching like movies, like our old anime movies, that has this look. And then later on, they started applying it to Spider-Verse. And so, whenever my family sees it, they think, well, they basically stole the look from my work. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think they're inspired.
Was that big in Cyberpunk? I only played 5 minutes of it.
Cyberpunk also had it. I actually turned it off.
Did you? Okay.
I turned it off. It was a bit strong.
Yeah.
Let's scroll down because there's so much here. We gotta move. There's so much to look at. Okay.
Did Mike ever tell you about his Michelangelo?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I don't think so.
Don't do it. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to know that story. This is Bradley knows that's triggering for me. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna put you through it. This is crazy, man. So crazy.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
They stole my last turtle. That's all I'm saying. Kaiser, I'm just gonna say that they stole my last turtle. That's all it is.
They
Ronin.
No, they changed the name. Mine was the last turtle. They made theirs the last Ronin. They got the Big Mac. I had the Big Mac. They made the Big Mick. Just so you know that.
Well, I have a little bit I have a story about the turtles when I worked at Warner Brothers, and the guy who was working on some content for Warner Brothers at the time, he had my work up on his computer, and then not too long after, the computer animated Ninja Turtles show on Nickelodeon was very much in the style that I drew those turtles.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Click on that Superman and Clark.
Man.
Again. It's so fresh, man. The proportions are what I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's very ill. I like that he's not too. Remember when the comic book they started making Superman like too diesel?
Yeah.
At a point.
Yeah.
Like this is it right here.
Yeah, I never you know, I don't think I've ever drawn Superman where he's like, you know, incredibly chiseled.
Like Henry Cavill, right? You don't draw him like Henry Cavill. Like you just,
Yeah.
not my Superman.
There's absolutely no reason for me. I don't think he goes to the gym. Like, what kind of gym would he go to? You know,
exactly.
In order to
be bench pressing planets.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's just sort of naturally big, you know, or lean, you know. So yeah. But
now, are you a fan? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of my inspirations for this particular Superman was J.C. Leyendecker, you know, and the way he would draw his characters, his dudes. You know.
Are you a fan of Cheeks? Because I kind of get like your color usage, very vibrant. You guys both have a very distinct style, and I know he's popular as well. Are you a fan of his work?
I like his stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Me and Cheeks, we've been friends for a long time. But yeah, I did in the beginning when I started cell shading some of the characters. People sort of thought that it was very Cheeks-like, you know, because Cheeks doesn't really do, you know, like when he's coloring a character, he doesn't really sort of render it. He just mostly just adds cell shades to it, and yeah, and so, you know, I was doing that with a few of my pieces, and sometimes I do that with these, and it looks kind of Cheeks-ish.
Yeah, but the style I think is completely different. You know what I mean? Like nobody has any copyright on color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Batman is sick, dude.
Thanks, man.
I like that design. Did you make up that design?
Justice.
Did that uniform on the left, is that your design for him?
Yeah. I always thought maybe Batman, the bat can sort of like meld into his cowl.
Cape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
damn, that's dope.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this is one that drawing was actually one of the reasons on why I got some more Warner Brothers work. Yeah, just recently.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mario.
Go to that Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. The Spider-Man right there. Up. Right. No, go up. That one's dope too. But that one right there. Are you a fan of the Hildebrands?
I do like the Hildebrand brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the just your like the color reminds me of that a little bit, although the style is more graphic and everything like this. Yeah. Even man, so the pose and then the shape of the background and everything kind of playing into it. I definitely can tell that you came from a graphic background because you take all that into consideration. And the composition is just like there's a natural vignette that kind of happens at the bottom that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's dope.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Okay. Sorry, Bradley. You can go back to your Mario.
So this is hashtag your Mario. This is when you see Mario. This is what you see.
I see Mario in totally like so many different ways, but yeah. Majority of the time when I'm visualizing Mario, he's like this he you know, he's this almost like this military type plumber dude.
Now I gotta ask you, did you miss an opportunity to show the plumber's crack on this? Like I feel like the belt wouldn't be working as well as it should on a plumber.
I didn't want people to like focus on the crack.
Nice. Yeah. It's not that kind of piece.
So I love it, but the crap.
Oh man.
Wow. Dude, that Spider-Man that you clicked on initially reminds me of like the Japanese Spider-Man with the smaller eye opening.
Yeah, yeah. That was a bit of the inspiration behind this guy. I don't even know why I started drawing these guys. I just sort of randomly just, it's like, what if I put Spider-Man 99 in there as well, because he's popular now for some reason.
Wow.
I don't know
How
why.
long ago did you do this one?
But
Like how long ago did you paint this one?
This
21 weeks ago.
was all time.
Exactly.
Let me see. I would say 3 hours, something like that. Yeah.
Oh no, Bradley, what'd you say? How long ago did you?
21 weeks ago to be exact.
21 weeks ago? Okay.
I don't know how long.
I needed the exact week count.
Yeah, you need
That's
the
what I was
exact week.
Nice. Yeah, man.
Man, your
Styles on
output is
styles.
just is crazy. Like the output is like that's what what fascinates me the most is the output. It's just crazy.
Oh, the Fred is dope. Click on the Fred.
Draw a lot.
Do you sleep? By any
Nice.
chance, do you sleep? Like, do you sleep
No, you
8
don't
hours?
sleep.
Oh no, I haven't slept 8 hours in a million years.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, like 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours mostly, max.
How many hours do you think you're creating in a day, an average day, like between work and personal?
Man, pretty much every hour. I don't know.
Just wake up and the stylus is already going next to you.
Yeah. I always got the stylus in my hand. But not about 12 hours, 12, 13 hours a day.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I'm always.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you ever get burnt out? Like, how do you stay motivated?
Yeah, like I want to know, how do you not get burnt out?
Yeah.
Usually just working on stuff like this. So if I have like client work, which is pretty much all the time, I in between that stuff, I'll work on something silly like Scooby-Doo Crew.
Yeah.
It's like what would be my take on Scooby-Doo Crew, because I'm not a fan of Scooby-Doo all that much. How can I change them up? So that I would like them. So I made this guy into, he's Hispanic actually. That's the reason why his skin is darker. He just lives in the hills with the Caucasians. So he ends up he ended up dyeing his hair blonde. Plus, a lot of the kids do that these days.
That's true.
He's a jock. He's very heroic, and so he heard about this puppy dog that was living in this abandoned old house in some part of California, and so he goes to, rescue the dog, and it turns out to be Scooby-Doo and all that shit.
So are you writing these things out before you draw them, or as you're drawing them, it's coming
Just
to
in
your
your
mind
head?
and you come up with these stories?
Yeah. It's mostly just sort of me coming up with the story while I'm drawing the character.
Okay.
Is there Shaggy in there? I want to see what his take on Shaggy is. Did you do a Shaggy?
Yeah. Let's see, where is it? A little further down. That's Velma.
That's Velma.
I mean,
Daphne.
Daphne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, there's Velma right there.
Shaggy.
Oh, there's Shaggy.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You made him cool.
Yeah,
You made Shaggy
that makes
cool.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of a
You made
weed
Shaggy
head.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's got the ganja, he's got the old coat.
Dude, this is dope.
Oh, thanks, man.
The angles are crazy, man. So did you grow up on comic books too, or just like cartoons and anime gave you this?
I definitely grew up on comics. I was a fan of mostly in the 90s, like Jim Lee and the Rob Liefeld even. Todd McFarlane and all that stuff, and then Joe Mad, of course.
Yeah.
Because he was influenced, he was meshing a lot of anime and his stuff. So yeah.
Were you more of a DC guy or a Marvel guy when it came to the comic books?
I would say Marvel. I thought DC was
Okay.
a little boring, other than like Superman and a bit of Batman. I was
Mm-hmm.
more into Marvel characters. They were a little bit more
Nice.
relatable, and also I love the artists that were coming out of Marvel at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like Jim Lee to me was like, oh my god, this guy just like there's nobody like the guy. You know.
Yeah.
And then when Joe Mad came along, and then the mid '90s, I was like, jeez,
Right.
like this. I mean, like wow. I mean, I'm talking about Joe Mad from like the very beginning. I was following him when he was doing Marvel Presents before he had his own book. I was like, this guy has sort of an Arthur Adams type style.
Did Joe Mad do the X-Men Apocalypse? Remember when they did the different what's Age of Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Remember when Wolverine had like the hand cut off?
Yeah. He did.
Yeah, like dude, between that and Battle Chasers, like he was next level, or still is. Still.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. He did some X-Men, and he became really popular doing the X-Men. Well, he did Daredevil.
Mhm.
I mean, not Daredevil, but Deadpool before that, and then X-Men, and yeah, man. Then he went over to do Battle Chasers, became a huge superstar.
Yeah.
And then he stopped and started doing games, video games.
Yeah.
Which became very successful. His games all.
They sure did.
Yeah.
I have two that I need to play still.
Oh yeah.
The war one and then the whatever the last one was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. So you guys don't know because I was talking to Kizer before we started this, but the being able to draw out the silhouette and the line and all that stuff without any guides is crazy to me. Like this whole thing is crazy to me. I don't understand it. Like I don't get it. I saw you sketching a line and then you filled it in, and it was a dope silhouette. Come on, man. Like really? That's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I draw characters a ton also, you know, so
yeah.
Drawing them, I think I've drawn every pose in the world. So, you know, visualizing a character in a certain pose is not all that as hard as I guess maybe it would have been back when I was a teenager or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, and then all you got to basically do is just fill in the colors, you know.
Yeah, that's all, Bradley. That's all. Stop slacking.
Just fill in the colors.
Just do it, dude. Stop.
What resources are books or things that you would recommend to someone to be able to like sharpen their skills or to be on a pathway to being like Kizer?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Because I don't even read the books anymore like back in the day.
Did you ever get like drawing comics the Marvel way or any of those things? Like when I was little, that was the one I picked up.
So we just chop your head off and all your powers come into us. Cool. All right.
No, yeah. Orlando rules. Is that what we're doing?
Cool.
All right.
Cool. All right.
No.
I'll find you. Just chop your head off and I'll be the one. That's right.
Yeah. This is where we part ways, I think, Bradley, if anybody from the authorities is watching.
Yeah, the cops. No. But no, I totally had to draw the Marvel way when I was a kid. I was bought that by my aunt, who was also very much into comics. So, yeah, I was a big Buscema type fan, and then I had a lot of books on Leonardo and his studies and stuff like that. And there's been tons of books, man. Bern Hogarth. I was a big Bern Hogarth.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dynamic everything. Anatomy books are hard for me to understand, man. That it just don't make sense to me. Hogarth, it went over my head.
If you didn't like Bern Hogarth as a kid, then I would study Bart Sears. I was a Bart Sears guy back in the early '90s when he did. In mid '90s when he was doing Brutes and Babes for Wizard magazine back in the day, and then Andy Smith, who was also sort of like a protege of Bart Sears. A lot of artists would work muscles, and they look, I can draw all the muscles in the world into their artwork, you know, in comics.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I would study that stuff in order to learn how to draw muscles.
Yeah.
And then like if you really like sort of, I would say, you know, what's those like Arnold Schwarzenegger type books?
Bodybuilders.
Yeah, like
Oh
bodybuilding
yeah.
type books. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then also, like, if you want to, you know, this is very controversial when I say it, but porn.
You heard it here first, guys. Everyone, guys, ladies, you heard it here first.
Because you
Also, I challenge anyone to stay focused enough to worry about anatomy while they're watching porn. Good luck with that.
But yeah, but it's
Good luck.
but you know, these characters are naked and they're in all different types of positions, you know, and so you can stop it and then draw it, you know.
It's true.
Just don't allow your girlfriend or your mother
Right.
You know,
Say,
Mike,
this is
you know
this
what
is
I just
reference. This is just reference.
lock the door,
Mike,
you know.
here's what's crazy.
Yeah.
He's holding his camera or phone while he's drawing on this. Who's holding the camera, Kizer?
Wait,
Kizer,
did
who's
you?
holding the camera?
Is that you holding the camera while you're drawing this?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Because I don't have
Man.
anybody.
You're just flexing. At this point, it's just a flex. Yeah.
Hey.
Now, you did say earlier that you were a fan of Liefeld. I'm gonna hold you to this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What exactly was your favorite thing about Rob Liefeld's artwork? Was it his proportions?
Yeah, actually, I mean, like I like that because I was a huge fan of Arthur Adams.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, like Jim Lee. So it
Mhm.
felt like and Todd McFarlane at the time. So it felt like he was meshing all of those artists in one and sort of
Mhm.
trying to do his own thing. The only I did realize that, oh well, his weaponry is like just a block, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, with some lines on it, and yeah, he can't draw feet. But
Or
then
wrists.
you know, at
is
that
that the comic
time,
book artist that they were saying that didn't know anatomy? Or didn't he have a good understanding
So
of anatomy?
there's a picture. There's a famous picture of his Captain America
Captain
from the
America.
side.
Okay, yeah.
That had the crazy barrel chest and all that.
Yeah.
First, go back to that Spider-Man and Hulk, because I think that is probably, if I had to choose only one piece as my favorite piece of yours, this is my favorite piece of yours right here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like that, dude. That coloring and lighting on that is insane. Damn, I love that piece. I would want that like right behind me on the wall. Do you ever turn to your stuff to do you ever make prints out of any of your work?
Yeah, I have one website that sells some of my artwork, but not so much. I got to start doing that more, you know, posting my work.
Do you ever find people ripping you off and selling your art as prints without your permission?
Outside of Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely happened. Yes, and I had to get pages shut down, all because of that. They had my stuff up, you know, on shirts and all that. So and then also when I was on Facebook, somebody hit me up and said, Kizer, I would have I was too nervous to walk up to you at this convention, you know, and blah blah blah, because I wanted to buy a piece and to talk to you. And I was like, I was never at the convention. What are you talking about? What's going on?
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's the reason why I started posting my face online.
Yeah.
People started posing as me.
Yeah. Do you know Dave Wilkins?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a phone call with Dave one time, and he was telling me that similar thing. He was at a convention signing his books, and someone came over and said, hey, I got your poster for such and such cover, and I want to know if you can sign it. He's like, I didn't do a poster for that. He's like, no, I got it right here. And they showed it to him. So that was that's not cool.
No, it's never cool. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. People selling your stuff as NFTs and all this other crap. I was like, wow, you know, like, but
That's where the internet comes in handy. I had somebody take my Joker that I did for Warner Brothers for the Heath Ledger Joker, and they turned it into like wallpapers and phone screens and all that, and someone was selling it as actual prints on their store. And so I saw that, actually somebody saw that and came to me, and just all of Facebook and Twitter and all these guys got the guy to, like, they shut it down just like that.
The one thing I do like is that I have people who like my work so much that they'll hit me up and say, "Hey Kizer, it looks like somebody's trying to use your stuff." And so that's what I like, that they they have heads up for me and all that shit, and so I can go to these pages and get these pages shut down, or sometimes they'll shut it down for me. Yeah. So I'm very gracious for people who like my stuff enough to where they look out for me, which is really cool.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
This stuff is crazy.
I want to make a X-Men movie show, so
right. I would love to see your take on the new Disney, the what is it, X-Men 97 or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I'm supposed to be doing something at the end of the year for that, but I'm not exactly.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
That might be NDA right there. I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
Well. All right. Timestamp.
But yeah, man, this is great. Like, we're gonna make sure. One thing we talked about. I don't know if we have it on here, that you might do something special for the Stylus League and make some characters for us to do on a show. So write in the comments if you guys want to see that.
Totally. Yeah.
Dude, I would love to see. I mean, you got enough work, right? Like, but dream thing would be your take on what the Stylus League, like, just your, like you did your Wendy's character or whatever, like a Stylus League mascot. It would be bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my iMac.
That was you said the iMac?
Yeah, I was like, what if iMac had their own character? And so I just made that.
This is the mascot for the iMac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That Spider-Man with the kingpins is crazy, dude. That one right there.
Thanks.
Dang.
Yeah.
How come you've never ventured into comics? Like, you're in animation. Like, have you thought or had an opportunity to actually like make and work on a comic?
I've been asked to do comics by a ton of people. Marvel. I don't know if DC hit me up, but Boom, all that stuff. I just the majority of the time, whenever they hit me up, I'm working on some animation project. So I never have usually.
Would you ever do covers? Like, just do the cover? Because I'm sure that would draw people to the book.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, yeah, I would like something like this. I would totally do. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever publishing company hit me up that to do covers. Yeah, totally. I do like doing that.
Yeah. That's dope. That was, dude, I bought a lot of subpar comic books just because, Alex Ross or somebody did the cover. I was just like, yo, cover is hot. The book has to be hot. And then I open it up and see it's a whole other artist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, what the hell is this?
Yeah. I hate that. Sometimes you'll see like Jim Lee, or back in the day, like Del Keown or something like that doing the cover. And then you open it up and it's like, wait a minute, who is this?
Right. Yeah. Who is Steve Smith? I don't know this guy.
Art Thurber. I can easily tell that Art Thurber.
You're right.
I'm not saying that Art Thurber is a bad artist. I love his work. He's the greatest emulator of Jim Lee. Still is.
Yeah. No, I was getting books that were definitely like. Yeah. Now that is Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Okay, yeah, that's fresh.
Japanese.
Did you ever do like the big mech in the background too?
I did. I don't think I put it. Well, I did actually. it's in there as a post, but I'm not exactly sure where it is.
Okay. That's my favorite version of him, like the little tiny eyes, like that always looked the best to me.
Yeah.
We just did Link last week,
Yeah.
last month. Yeah, it's fresh.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about the redesign for Miles' suit?
Oh, you mean this design?
Yeah. Do you like this?
Yeah, that's my buddy Chase Connolly. He redesigned him.
Okay.
Yeah. I did. Well, I dug it. I still do. I like the colors. I was like the hot pink, black.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was like, it's kind of interesting. But it grows on you after a while.
Yeah. I was surprised it wasn't in the game, you know? Like maybe it was the game before the change, Bradley? You remember?
Yeah, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, the game was, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be in part 2.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is there a comment like what was the story behind the costume change? I didn't know this was an actual. I've seen this around, but I didn't know this was like an official change in how he looks.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the story is. I've never asked Chase. Chase actually worked as a character designer with me on Boondocks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I've been knowing him since he started. Like he was 19, 20 years old or something like that. And it was like this exceptional sort of, comic book artist with black, and I'm like, wow. And then he moved on to do comic animation. Now Chase is director. He directed X-Men 97.
Oh, deep.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's one of the directors on that. Yeah, but dude is ridiculously talented. And so, but Marvel asked him if he could redesign Miles, and he did that version, which is it gets people talking because some people don't like the hot pink and black combination, but I dig it.
I like it's definitely different. Obviously just like with Spider-Man, the classic suit for me is always the one, but I do like it. I'd love to be able to play as that suit in the game.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
It looks like you jumped on the Arcane wave.
What's that?
Arcane?
Yeah. It's just a random piece while I was at a hotel drawing this guy. Actually, no, I did this on a plane coming back to Jersey. Yeah.
Nice. You ever get people just staring over your shoulder while you're trying to work and you have to pretend like they're not looking at you?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, drawing on
nice. Yeah.
Like
Static
I remember
shot.
I was drawing a dude one time, and this woman was sitting right next to me, and she was like, "Is that me?" And I was like, "No, that's not you. That's a dude. He's got a full-grown beard." I was like, "Well, no, this is
all right, this is how you know that you have made it as an artist. Have you had someone in a barbershop or out on the street that has been like, "Hey man, you a good artist. I should let you draw my girlfriend"?
Oh yeah, I've gotten all things. Yeah.
I like how they are letting you do them that favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also,
should let you draw my girl.
You should draw shirts, and all that stuff.
Exactly.
And then they know that you work professionally in the animation industry, but they still will ask that question. You know what you should do? I just thought about it. You should draw some shirts.
You're like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
That's original. You thought that by yourself?
Yeah, you ever thought about drawing shirts? No, like I thought about it like back in the day when I was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The best part about that is when they tell you what they're going to pay you, and you're like, that's very generous of you. Yeah, man, I give you $20. I'll let you draw me right now.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much art actually is worth. They think they can
Right.
do anything for it. They can look at things that are beautiful, but don't want to pay anything for the beautiful stuff. Ah.
Exactly.
Preach.
Now, how long did it? I know this is probably like a first hour question, but while we have you, how long did it take you before you were comfortable charging what you're worth? Because I know with artists, everybody I've ever met has been like, well, what do you want to pay for it? You know what I mean? What do you think it's worth?
Yeah.
Like, did you know right away that because your father was an artist also that you were like, yeah, I'm not just going to give away what I do?
No, I didn't know. I just sort of like I waited for the money that I never
Mhm.
received when I was like 18, 19 years old. And that right there changed my whole mindset when it came to getting paid,
Yeah. Yeah.
because this one guy, he wanted me to work on his clothing line, which had a horrible name. But I did. I did all these images for him. It never paid me.
Yeah.
And so that, I still think of that when it comes to getting paid money for my artwork.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like, yeah, when I was like late teens, early 20s, that's when my mind.
And was there ever a time when you ever like severely undervalued your work and then realized after the fact you could have charged a lot more for something?
Yeah, that's definitely happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
yeah.
oh, good.
No, I remember I asked for $10,000 at one point, and
Uh-huh.
realized the project that I was working on was definitely worth like 50, 60,000 bucks, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh shoot. I, that's the reason why they said yes so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I always tell artists this, and especially young cats when I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
Like I had done a painting one time of Puffy and Kim Porter for like Vibe magazine. And it was back when she was pregnant and like he's behind her. He's wearing a white shirt and she's wearing black and he's like hugging her from behind.
Yeah.
And he saw that piece and wanted a physical painting of it. I had done it on the computer, but one of his people came up and said, hey, Puff wants to buy this painting. What would you sell it to him for? And I was like, oh man, he's a rapper. He's got money. I was like, tell him I want $6,000 for it.
Oh.
And I just knew I was killing it. I knew I was killing it, which doesn't make sense because I was not that young at the time. But the person came back to me and was like, yeah, he said he's gonna pass. And I was like, what is it? Did I ask for too much? She's like, no, you asked for way too little. She said he was expecting you to say $60,000. And he said, if this is all you charge, everybody can have your artwork. So he does not want your artwork. And to this day, dude, like that is just like the knife in the chest.
Yeah.
But
it's a lesson. It's definitely
a lesson.
Don't undervalue your artwork.
All right, everybody. So as you can see from the interview, amazing stuff from Kizer, amazing artist, and Bradley and I are really happy to have got this one under our belt. So if you are a fan of Kizer's work, we're going to have links in the description for you to check out. And please go check out his work. Leave him a comment on his Instagram. Follow him on Instagram if you're not already. And buy his brush pack that he did with Procreate. I'm going to get mine after the show. And so look forward to much more amazing stuff with this man right here. Also some collaboration, Stylus League, Kizer crossover. Stylus League cross Coran. Yeah.
Thank you,
you never
again,
know,
Kizer, for joining us, man. It was amazing. I learned a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to learn a lot while looking through at this interview.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having me. This was a fun interview. I've been asked a lot of questions that I've never been asked before, so that was awesome. Cool.
And also,
good information.
If they see you, they can't cut your head off to get your powers. So don't do it.
Don't do that.
Don't even put that out there. You know what kind of time we're living in right now. These are the end days, bro. These are the end days. You can't be putting that out there.
Yeah. Some people are like, I didn't know I could do that. Oh shoot.
Right. They have him in a white suit getting pulled away. I didn't get his powers. What happened? Exactly.
Awesome.
That man.
Yeah. Somewhere you have a supervillain now that's like plotting your takeover.
Awesome. Thanks
You bring
everybody.
it on.
Peace.
Thanks, man. All right. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.